Hey, Kliq This fans, want to get closer to the show than ever? Join Kliq This TV. Kliq This TV offers early commercial-free access to wrestling's hottest podcast, plus live audience tapings of their show every friggin' week. Head to KliqThisTV.com now and get inside the show that's just too sweet.
The following podcast contains mature language and adult discussion.
Kev, I was just mentally going through everywhere we hit around the bases on the in the pregame show here, and I'm just trying to see if I have enough variety for everyone. Kliq This, the Kevin Nash podcast, is where you have landed. He's Kevin. I'm Sean. If you're looking for somebody else, you're in the wrong place. So I'm feeling like Lakers sale. I'm thinking profit on Lakers sale from the $62.7 million purchase in 1979 to the $10 billion current valuation. Bunker busters, U.S. and I guess Israel, two countries with the bunker busters.
No, we're the only one that has one.
We're the only ones, okay.
Yeah.
So if they have them, they came from us.
Nope, they don't have one.
They don't have one. Fastest Russian missile.
20,000 miles an hour.
Okay. Pakistan recent threat, right? To
That if anybody used a nuclear weapon against Iran, that they would retaliate against Israel with nuclear weapons. Pakistan.
and a similarly important item, Coachman now on the Vince Russo podcast network. Talk a little wrestling. We were all over the place.
Yeah.
When you think about it, I'm a little dizzy. How was your week?
My week.
I saw a picture of you today, like ripped to shreds. That was a current picture?
That was yesterday at the gym.
And what's the weight?
I was like 288 when I weighed out. So,
props to you, man. For I mean, I'm not a workout junkie. I lift weights. They're just fucking heavy. But like, for you having been laid up for how long after the procedure were you precluded from doing a real workout? You were doing the stretches and stuff.
From doing anything? I mean, so this is the first time I've ever like listened to what they told me. So I was 6 weeks after the surgery. Then I went down to a bioaccelerator in Medellin, and I got stem cell. So I got the stem cell in my spine. I got it in both shoulders. I got it in my left knee, and I got it in my bicep that was torn, which I think was like the ectosome, like the each time that I go down to Medellin, the stem cell science gets better. So it just seems like this is the first time. Like usually my shoulders ache for like almost every day. They ache, and now I do these stretches and some strengthening exercises, and I mean, I wake up in the morning. If I sleep on my shoulder, it might be like stiff until I get up and move a little bit. So I've been able to train, I would say, 6 weeks. Like 6 weeks where I can actually kind of, but I'm still not, I'm not being stupid, you know.
But you were able to get back in remarkable physical condition, optimal. Are you about where you were before?
No, I'm probably I'm probably about 10 pounds lighter.
But as far as your workouts go, when you're there, are you back in the zone that you were?
No, I'm not. I'm not lifting. I just don't want, because the last time I tore my supraspinatus and my bicep, like I always use really good form, and I just think that I was overtraining. So now I've added more rest days, more rest time between sets, and then I've made sure that my nutrition's like spot on. Supplements are spot on. So it's just fine tune everything that you can. I'm going to be 66 in about 2 weeks, so it's like,
Yeah, but I mean, you're an optimal 66. You know what 66 looks like for the average person. I mean,
yeah. I've only taken off when I've been injured. I'm always consistent.
mhm.
You know, and I am a gym junkie, so like it's so hard for me not to overtrain because I want to go to the gym. So, but
As well versed as you are in fitness and working out and weight training and bodybuilding, I'm surprised you never ventured into owning gyms. It was somewhat popular for a lot of wrestlers to invest in gyms, but you to be the guy between the business acumen and the physical knowledge.
I'd have to be there.
Oh, the commitment. You mean the size of the
I'd
commitment?
have to be there. I wouldn't put my name on something and have some jack off run in my gym.
Couldn't partner with an already established and kind of.
Wouldn't want to. Then it's like, you know, it's like the people you allow to come in and be personal trainers. You know, that's your responsibility as a gym owner, who you let come in and because I'm not going to do it.
Right. If you
You
get
know,
some jerk off who's hired and someone gets hurt or
fuck
something.
some, you know, he's got some kid, you know. I see people letting high school kids, 15, 16-year-old kids that are personal trainers, and the kids are flat bench pressing with a fucking with a barbell. And I'm like, that's like the worst exercise on earth.
Because it's freestanding and it could
It's
be
just
dropped.
no. It's just
No.
it's biomechanically. It's just
Oh.
fucking. It puts your shoulder at about the worst position as it possibly can.
But I feel like when I was in high school, that's what we had in the school, right? They were all just flat benches, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's still like that's what people are like. What do you bench? I'm like, I have no fucking idea what I bench. I don't bench to. Like there's so many people now that, like, I did a set the other day, and it was probably 185 pounds on a Smith machine incline, and I was trying to make the set last 4 minutes. Like I was trying to just keep the muscle under tension for 4 minutes, and I went like 2.5 minutes, and I was spent.
How many reps is that?
The reps are slow. I mean, I'm not counting because I've just got somebody giving me 30-second cues. But I'm keeping the bar moving.
Mm-hmm. Just slowly.
It's slow.
Is there a more optimal time of day to work out? I see gyms that are open like 24 hours. Like,
I need to have a 24-hour gym because, if I find a television show and I won't go, and I'm not going to train on less than 7.5, 8 hours sleep. And I've got to get up and I've got to get my car. I've got to get all I have to do in my day, on a regular day, the only thing I have to do is my training. And today I didn't train today, so I just did cardio and abs today.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to have to start putting in more lower back, because that's just, as you get older, your lower back just, you got to bulletproof your lower back. I think that's why I got those herniations.
Well, your size it contributes too. Like someone my frame versus someone your frame. The first thing that's going to go on me is likely what? Knees?
Just anything. Just depends how, I don't, everybody genetically is different. You
But
could
so-
have, wide clavicles and long levers, and
Damn right I do.
your arms are gonna,
But
that's my,
someone your size, that your back from taking bumps, from just your size, your frame, your muscles are keeping your spine erect. I would imagine larger people have the back is the first to go.
no. No, I think, I mean, I'm sure if I was 66 years old and I was deadlifting, like, I think there's a point, age-wise, when deadlifting is stupid. I think there's a like squatting, the risk ratio to reward ratio is you know, there's other ways to work around to keep what leg size you can. And I think that's the key, is to keep your legs strong. But on top of that, the key is also is to keep your feet functioning.
When you say, just for our audience, deadlift is when you take the bar from the floor to a standing position with your arms down.
Yeah, straight. Yeah.
Okay. So that's a leg,
That's
knees, legs, back.
everything. That's a complete. It's that and the squat are your, and that's with a not even a bar. That's with like a fucking gimmick bar.
Which is better, probably, right? Because it's balanced.
I never used that.
Okay.
I always deadlifted with a bar, and I never sumoed.
What's that?
When you get one palm up and one down.
Oh.
There's a lot of people that do that. I've seen more people tear biceps doing that style than any other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just all looks dangerous to me, Kevin.
Well, not as dangerous
watch
as
you guys do it.
not training.
Not as dangerous as not training. Very good.
There's a lot more people dying of not exercising than there are people exercising.
Kev, some friends were listening and watching last week, like SRGN86, who wrote in and said, Kev and Sean, what an amazing interview, especially hearing T stories. Hearing how Kev split with his wife, co-parenting challenge, T on the spectrum, being there physically and emotionally for your kid, and making a marriage work. All that hit home with me. I've been there, done that. Kev, you're an amazing father. Sean, thank you for putting out such great content. I appreciate you guys.
Appreciate it, but
You're welcome.
Well, I'd like to play it over, but you don't get that in life.
Did you get any personal? I know you run into people who talk about the podcast sometimes, or your brother will give a review. Did you get some feedback from last week's show? I would hope that it was loaded with positivity.
No. I mean, I didn't. No, I think we've gotten to the point of this game now where, I mean, the people that it's, if people want to be assholes, man, it takes. I get nothing out of reading anybody's remarks, and especially if they're negative, are they trying to be hurtful? So I just assume, like, anybody out there that has sent me something shitty on Instagram or on X, I'm quite sure that they realize that I don't. I just block the person.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't. There's enough negative shit in this world. I don't need some fucking moron to be a part of it.
Alex Trombley, hands down my favorite episode. Many, many great memories at Pine Knob. The witch's head story made me pop. Disco and Nash living the loft life. All the video game chatter is something most of us fathers grew up with and are now doing it again with our children. Also, I'm stealing the idea of lining up all the little green army soldiers with dark guns across the room. And lastly, thank you, Nash, for having the courage to open up and share such private memories and details about your son from one Detroit father to another. I appreciate you. Pine Knob, I don't remember the reference to the facility from last week.
It's like a bootleg ski resort in the wintertime, but it's a concert venue. So it has like a pavilion, and then the rest of the seating is up on this, like there's hills around it. You bring your blanket.
That was the outdoor one you talked about, the
Yeah.
lawn where you could put the chairs.
Yeah, that's right where I saw the Beach Boys.
That's only functional a few months a year up there in Detroit, right?
No, I mean, it's
getting a little cold there
get
in
a few.
October, November.
No, well, fuck yeah, but I mean, I've seen so many people there, from Joe Jackson to the Thompson Twins to Ozzy Osbourne.
I'm trying to think of where they'd be on the dime.
Can function in the Barcays.
Thompson Twins and Joe
Whispers.
Jackson. You get that on First Wave. I'm trying to think of where on my Sirius dial that would be. That would be First Wave. Ozzy would be Ozzy's Boneyard. Who was the third one you mentioned? I don't think I ever heard of this group.
Joe Jackson?
No, Joe Jackson. Then Thompson Twins, Ozzy, and then you said something else, which I thought you were having a Joe Biden moment for me.
No, they were just R&B. Like I think they, I don't know if it was Cameo, Barcays, and it was like
Cameo. I remember.
Yeah.
You were into funk, right? Like, do you remember Mother's Finest?
Yeah.
The funk group. Okay, good. Then you're legit. Zach's Mac 33. Actually, no, one before that. The one BG. Doubt they'll use real releases as part of a storyline. Would cause a mess down the road. Ron is also still officially R-Truth in WWE, not Ron Killings. I think they just cut him, saw the wrestler and fan response, and right after decided to extend it and make this an angle. Even Kev didn't expect him back after last week's episode. WWE handled it smartly. So that's one camp. There's a couple of camps out there. If you read the chatter, that you'll see is there it was either a backpedal or
I throw out to him that if he's wants to come back and make an impact, that if he does get a chance to attack Cena again from behind, please don't mount him and throw 35 punches into his left
elbow,
fucking forearm. Yeah, that was brutal.
Well, I mean, Kev, you're a stickler for the details, and
yeah, I wanted to. I mean, I don't know. I don't understand why you wouldn't just take your time and throw 3 or 4 really good strikes at their head, and even if they were to like we all watch UFC. It's like we all know what it looks like when it's not when a guy's finished. It's when a guy's when you first, if they first get on them. It's always that same thing where they're looking, they're trying to measure. It's better to measure to make those shots than it is to just throw shitty pro wrestling punches.
Is the fear that by slowing the pace down like that, you'd lose that hot moment where the fans are fever pitch and by being too measured and calculated, it wouldn't match the vibe? I don't know.
Well, number one, if you fucking clock, if you clock them, and then you take your time, because it isn't like Cena's arguably one of the 10 best ever, and if you like boom, like you have to realize nobody expected that. LA Knight came down, called him a bald bitch. Cena said "fuck you" through his mic. That looked like almost a shoot. Like, you're not going to talk. I'm not going to sit here and have you fucking talk shit to me. He goes back out of nowhere, wham! Now fucking Ron hits him. Let that fucking register. Let me fucking like I was watching a movie called The Amateur that he was chasing this woman that he wanted to kill, and she runs out this out into the street in France, and she gets run over by a bus. Well, then he walked over to her, checked her, then looked down and picked up her phone, and it was that was enough. It's like, what if you clobber him, then now he's face down. Now take your time and turn him over where John can, because you're laying this shit out, where John now can get into a guard position, and now you can throw some, because they're coming down anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're coming down to break this up anyway. I mean, that's already something that's been put into the end of this. So the last thing you want to do is throw 35 punches, and when Cena gets up, he doesn't have a mark. There's no blood. It's you basically, all you've done is you've showed me a fucking a poorly done.
It's pro wrestling.
A poorly done piece of pro wrestling, when you could have said, like, fuck, man, like, Killing's just fucking hot about he had a chance there to solidify that he was back, and it was like he wasn't happy about the way he was treated. There was a lot of things he could have wove into that I don't think that got a chance to be woven into it. I just think it just, it was like watching a cum shot culmination. It's like really,
right? It's arguably not the most interesting thing to watch in the process. Get it? Okay. Let's see.
Not that I wouldn't have blown a quad trying to get down there. I mean, but it's just I just think that Ronnie could have got a lot more out of it. I think everybody could have got a lot more out of it.
Danny Canadian, my guess is they purposely let R-Truth's contract lapse with a handshake agreement that they'll sign a new contract the week after he was let go in order to further whatever story they're cooking up there. So that's
obviously you've never been in pro wrestling.
There's no such thing as a handshake agreement.
No.
All right, begs the question. Promoter you trusted the most. I didn't say entirely. I said the most.
Well, I mean, my situation with working for Turner was pretty bulletproof. I didn't have to worry about what my payoff was if the other guy got more than me. It was, I knew what my check was going to be every 2 weeks.
Thus the importance of the contracts, right? That was the silver bullet put through the heart of the promoter.
Which would have been the case had I shook anybody's hand after fucking the curtain call.
All right, you could fire me, and then
what are we
going to do in a week?
Yeah,
word.
I'm gonna job to Taker at Mania, and I'm gonna job to Sean in Omaha, and then on a handshake, we'll come down here and we'll get this thing going.
So that's the money, though, we're talking about. Okay, that's the money. But what about promoters that said that they would do something, that they were going to? When I say promoters, what are we limited to in your career? We're limited to Vince, to Eric.
Well, I think money. No, but I think
who
it's
was
like
in WCW when you were Oz? Who was it? Barnett?
Who's in charge of money then? Ole was the booker.
Oh, he was a booker.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but my whole thing is this: if you get a 7-figure guarantee, you're pretty much going to be used correctly.
Right.
You know,
it's a terrible. They're shitting on their own investment.
Yeah,
if they don't.
Yeah. So I mean, you're before they fuck that that situation up. And then on top of that, you've got to be verbal. I mean, you've got to be able to play the game in the back. You got to be a politician.
So, all right. So once and for all, what does that mean? It can mean so many things, and people say it like an insult, usually fans. People say it like a compliment, usually people in the business that I'm talking to. They'd be like, "Well, Kev was the consummate politician. He was a businessman." Or fans are like, "Yeah, he's a politician. That's why." What does it mean to you?
What does it mean to me? It means you understand. Number one, if I'm packing my bag and getting on an airplane and leaving my house for 23 to 24 to 25 days, whatever it is, and I'm being told where to go, I'm driving a couple hundred miles a night, and I'm bouncing around in a ring that's been fortified to make sure Yoko doesn't break the boards. If I'm not fucking smart enough, and it wasn't like it was some master plan. I was with Sean and I was with Scott, and that's who I traveled with at the beginning. And they were going to go with Scott and they were going to go with Sean. And then once I came along, the drug test was a shoot. And as the guys got smaller, I was bigger. And I heard from a very reliable source that when we were at the Garden, Vince said, "Fucking look how big that motherfucker is, clean." So I knew I had a chance. I had an intangible that nobody else had. You can do all the arm drags and fucking flip-de-flops and all that shit, man. You can do them all day long. But, man, you can't fucking teach a motherfucker to be 6'10".
Yeah. Well, you talk about your days in Ring of Honor with Gabe Sapolsky, obviously.
Yeah.
You worked for him and you know those arm drags. How long were you in WWE when word got back to you that Vince was hot on you? So pretty instant?
I worked, it was the first time I worked the Garden. We did a 6-man elimination tag. It was me, Bam Bam, and Sean. I forget who the guys we were, but I won the elimination tag. And I hadn't had many, I know that was the first time I worked in the Garden. I don't think people realize that I signed on June the 6th in 1993, and I was world champion November the 27th in 94.
Mm-hmm.
So 18 months.
Mm-hmm.
18 months from fucking walking in the door, I was the world champion.
Yeah.
And
When you were in the bodyguard role.
It sure as fuck wasn't because I was the whirling dervish.
No one will make that mistake.
With my 5 moves.
6 if you count the squisher.
7 if you count me backing in and cashing my check.
I thought you were going to talk about backing into a patrolman's car. So now, I want to ask you, when you were doing the bodyguard gimmick, because I've been critical of Braun Breaker's position as the bodyguard role, right? And you were correcting me and saying, no, he's in a main event angle. So did you see yourself positioned that way, that you would break out of that and stand on your own in the ring? Forget about champion, just making a name for yourself?
I had no idea what was going to happen. I knew that Sean was so good and Sean was getting heat because a lot of, like, you'll see guys that work on the outside of the ring and they'll do 4 or 5 things during the course of a match to interfere with the 2 participants in the ring. I would do one thing during the course of that match, and it would change the complexity of the match.
And it was important because
if I was going to interfere, that was it. We were going home. So not only did Sean have a ton of heat, but I was absorbing his heat because I was keeping that strap on him in their estimation. Like, if you didn't have that fucking big goon with him, he would have lost. And I was smart enough to fucking know that. Wasn't nobody telling me that.
But as far as getting away from Sean
got drugged. Somebody fucking Mickeyed his beer with some Winstrol, and he came up dirty on a piss test for steroids. And everybody knew we were getting fucking drug tested all the time. So he said, "Fuck you, I'm gonna go home." And he sat out, and then fucking I came in, and they gave me that push at the Rumble in '94 in Providence, and then I got the IC strap from Scott in Rochester, and I was off to the races. And then that King of the Ring at Baltimore was my first world title. I wrestled Bret Hart, and that was the first time that I got to sit under his learning tree, and he taught me basically how to work a main event match.
You've talked about main event style.
Right.
And it's something maybe all the guys, you would use that term. I don't know if it was only you, but it was something you would try to get younger guys or just guys that came, talked to you, rode with you, to understand that there's a difference. Can you give me some of that?
I mean,
it's keeping something in the reserve, right? Not spending it all. I know that was always part of it, so that you could.
But it's also not like not having a hockey fight, not both guys throwing 10 punches back and forth to each other, and neither one of them selling it. It's a guy like Brett would hit me. He hit me the second time. He'd rock me. Third time, I'd say, watch the right. And I'd fucking swing it as hard as I could right at his head. And if he didn't duck out of the way, it was going to kill him. Wasn't none of this shit where you see this shit with guys doing this and sending somebody off the rope, and you fucking, like, when I sent somebody off the rope and I told them to duck it, they better fucking duck it, because if you didn't duck it, you were going to get fucking clobbered.
You were going to get it, right, yeah.
And that's just, I mean, that's, it's not fucking how much you do, it's how you do those few things. There's a huge difference between watching Ali and watching George Foreman. Yet, if you ever read the book The Greatest, fucking Ali was fucking, he was concerned about 2 people in his fucking career, Sonny Liston and George Foreman. Those are the two people that, I mean, so.
When you had to work Sean and such disparate styles, you sometimes would see, I always hated when it was like Andre versus Stud, because they were going to be too similar in style because they were giant guys, or like Typhoon versus Kamala. You know where it's not going to go. So that means
Right.
you know where it's going to go. So you've got Kev, you get Diesel, and you get Sean, who's like wildly athletic and flips around like a fucking
And
monkey.
it's one of the 5 storylines. You have David versus Goliath.
Right. Right. So I think that's why when people saw that's where it was going to go, I think that was part of the excitement too. If fans were that smart, then
I think that was always the importance of when I was Sean's bodyguard. You know, I never moved fast because Jason didn't move fast, except one movie that sucked. Frankenstein didn't move fast. I mean, fucking, you could have stopped and cooked a meal by the time the mummy got to you. Like, you know, when you think about like the famous monsters are fucking, you know, the killers in those movies, they move slow, and I always, my psychology was always to work like you're, and I remember when I was with Big Show, I was working with Paul, and I just would say, you know, when we worked together, like, you need to work like a bear, like cut the ring off and get. And that's what I did. I'd cut the ring off, get you in the corner, and I'd give you the knees and the elbows and the punches and the boot to the neck, and I would beat you down until you got out of that, and then we might do 1 or 2 spots, and eventually I'd cut you off, give you a front turnbuckle, go over, do the same thing, and there was a psychology to it. I can't beat you if you're fucking mobile. If I can get you in the corner and I can pound on you, my physical size and strength will beat you. And it was an easy story for the announcer to tell. It was an easy story for the person watching to understand. I didn't,
yeah.
you know, I didn't have, there was nobody in the back going, thinking it was a scene from The Jerk when they're like, oh my God, he hates his
These
left
cans.
elbow.
Okay.
You know, it's like, it's these fucking cans. You
Let
know,
me
it's
tell you about
just,
these cans, Kev. These cans right here.
ah,
So you mentioned that this is Get Blitzed, of course. This is our Get Blitzed. The LITZED powered by the Kliq this show. This is Sean's Blue Raspberry. I'm showing you there is also Kev's Key Lime. What am I talking about? I am talking about this is the high spot of the show, clearly. So I'm talking about our friend Mickey Ray Sinatra and Courtney. And they've been bringing you the nano-infused Delta 9 sip and syrup since we started the show. But now finally, folks, you can get the Get Blitzed LITZED mixers in cans. They're delicious. I want to hear from some of the fans here live in the house if you've gotten these and enjoyed these, either Kev's flavor or Sean's flavor. This is, you have the syrup. If you like to do your own mixing, you can certainly do that and get your flavored syrup and put it in a beverage of your choice, like a tea or a soda or a white soda. And we're just talking about a teaspoon. That's all it takes to get you where you want to go, because it's a fast onset, 5 to 15 minutes. Nano-infused means it goes directly into the bloodstream, bypassing the breakdown in the liver. Now, I'm loving these. A nice, mild, chill vibe from my 5 milligrams here. It's super potent stuff. It's like THC on steroids. You can visit.
or like a B-52 with a bunker buster.
Made in the USA, obviously.
I guess, no, they're just a B-2, aren't they? But that's
No,
that's
the B-52s would be the Love Shack. That's a Love Shack buster.
No, B-2 is the one that is the big winged thing that they fly. That's a bunker buster right there in your hand.
This is a bunker buster. So if you're in Maryland, hit up a Stay Lit Smoke Shop. For the rest of us, it's legal to ship right from the Get Blitz website to almost all 50 states without a med card as long as you're over 21. And right now you can save 15% by entering the code KLIQ, K-L-I-Q, at checkout. Go to get-blitzed.com. That's get-blitzed.com. Try it. Try our amazing 5 milligram Delta 9 THC drink. I promise you're going to love it. And make sure you get that 15% by typing the code KLIQ KLIQ at checkout. Kev, I'm not done talking about what we were talking about. I want to stay on you working Sean for a minute. Am I right in saying that just because of how Sean was at the time, that he might try to blow you up a little bit or try to get an upper hand, a professional upper hand in the ring by working you certain ways, and then you would maybe grab a chin lock and lean on him a little heavy to slow him down a little?
But that was always, or try to tuck hair down the guy's throat. Everybody had those fucking mullets. Take that shit and put it in their fucking mouth and tuck it in their fucking mouth so they gag on their own hair.
So just a little friendly competitiveness?
But it was more of a rib. You know, like I never did it. I mean, I needed him out there, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's no way I was gonna. I mean, I needed Shawn out there, and the beauty with Shawn Michaels was, like, he could do all the athletic things, but man, like he was a prick, and he had that prick mode, and he could shift in the prick mode, and when he threw his punches looked. I mean, I think that's one of that whole era of guys, because I've seen it come through, and most of the guys in that era, man, through, like, you look at Taker, you look at Triple H, you look at, of course, Scott, like Shawn Michaels, like those guys threw fucking Brett. They threw great punches.
Is it a lost art? The punch?
Because for us, like Babyface never threw the first punch. That was like, rule 101. And but it wasn't something we did while we pushed a guy to the rope. We punched a guy one time, he staggered to the ropes, like fell back into the ropes, and then you took him and you sent him off. Like I was watching the other day, I forget who was working, but they did, like, my pet peeve, like, they stopped the guy 4 feet from the rope. Instead of just picking him up and sending him across the rope, they picked him up and backed him all the way into the ropes and then sent him off.
Okay, right.
And it's just like, and that was one of the things that I learned early in my career was, if I can stop you in the middle of the ring and throw you into a turnbuckle, I'm one step from that turnbuckle. So if you move, it doesn't look like there's nothing worse than sending a guy turnbuckle to turnbuckle, you taking 3.5 steps, and the guy getting the foot up. Like, really? Like, why wouldn't you just fucking pull the guy out by his hair, punch him one time, and send him right back in the turnbuckle that he was in? Because you got to do that fucking high spot, and then you got to get the guy on the top turnbuckle, and then he's got to get up there, and then you got to get down the second, and then you each take turns like you're fucking doing a Lego fucking dance together, of fucking hooking each other up, and like,
that's a bit of a pet peeve when I could see
the
help. I could see the help.
Yeah.
In what's supposed to be a battle. Yeah, no, I understand that.
But you know what? When you see when it's done well, and I've seen like some of the King of the Ring, everybody knows my pet peeve on fucking having more. If it's not a tag match, there shouldn't be more than two people on the campus, and these 4-way matches, and I know that there's like a formula that they do now. Drives me fucking insane. But when the spots are done well and everything does click right and nobody like doesn't rush through shit, it's amazing how the crowd, like when there's a certain synchronicity, the people like it's 1001, 1002. This is awesome. This is awesome. Like they're not fucking up. They're not fucking up because like you've got them. Like okay, like you have me now because you haven't done anything that is so pro wrestling that I gotta go like, ah, fuck.
Right. Yeah. Was Sean your best opponent? Let's talk about the match. The matches. Did you leave the ring?
It took me longer to have a great match with Sean than it did with Brett.
Took you longer that night or longer in the program?
In the process.
Okay. Whereas Brett was so polished, it was a turnkey kind of thing.
No, it wasn't that Sean wasn't as polished. It's just that you had to. Brett wasn't going to clothesline you or super kick you or whatever over the top rope, and before the spot, him say, "I'm going up top. Just get a hand on me." Like just like I'm going up top. So then that changes a lot of things because he's coming off now. You don't have that you've got to go into the cell. Like there's where Brett was more in ring. I think like, of all the things that Brett and I did, I think like the Survivor Series when he called that spot where I shot him with I kind of shoulder blocked him off the apron through the Spanish announce table, which was the first time anybody went through the Spanish announce table, and that was Brett's call. Like it was such a like the people were just like, what the fuck? And I just looked around and the place went silent. And then all I had to do was take my time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just take my time, grab him by his hair, drag him, throw him in, and that's we went into this. That's where we went right into the finish. I went to go give him the power bomb. He fell out of my grasp, and I was still a babyface at that point. And I kind of like, I tried facially to say like, Jesus, like, what the fuck's like, what's gotten into me? Like I'm taking shortcuts. That this isn't me. This isn't Diesel. This isn't Diesel. And then that split second of me reaching down to pick him up the next time, he fucking small packaged me.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's when I told the truck, make sure you get a close up of my face after the 3 count. When I set up, I said, motherfucker. And then I went off and I fucking power bombed everybody and I basically turned heel. So
you were gradually telling the story through the match.
Right.
We hear that term a lot. Tell a story, and that's what you're describing.
And to me, I think that's the whole thing. Like, what's the story? What are you telling me? Like, I'm really intrigued with Gunther and Bill.
Mm-hmm.
Because they can tell a great story because no matter how you look at it, if Goldberg can fucking spear Gunther, he loses.
He'd have to, right? You'd have to do that. You'd have to make that.
But it's that. But so going into it, if I make a mistake of that magnitude and Goldberg hits me with a spear, I'm done.
But can you do that today, Kev? We believed that in '98, but today people are kicking out of finishes left and right. Would the young fan that fill those buildings,
They haven't watched people kick out of Goldberg.
would they know that it's so significant if he hits it? Is what I'm
I don't
saying.
know. He
I don't.
fucking.
They'd have
he-
to build.
he-
They'd have to establish that somehow.
All you gotta do. I mean, how hard is it to show a package of him fucking beating?
That's what I mean. Right.
Beating Lesnar.
Right.
I mean, just all you have to do is put a package of what this guy can do.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think. I think that Bill, his reputation for a quick match. I mean, I don't think that you have to drop anything more than what we did on Nagasaki or Hiroshima to understand that fucking he has that capability. All you have to do is show a clip of the only people that have used nuclear weapons on this planet, and I think that you can probably get that across.
Are we going to see a good full match with just those two at Saturday night's main event, Bill and Gunther?
I know that I'll watch it.
I'll watch it too, but am I going to be shaking my head saying this was a mistake, or are they going to be able to do this?
No, I don't think it's going to be a mistake, because I think that this is Bill's last match.
Mm-hmm.
Bill isn't going to have another match, so Bill's not going to want to go out. Bill will give us what he has.
What must Bill do in this match, regardless of the outcome, to make it a successful night?
Be Goldberg. Don't. To me, it's just like, I forget like the last time Nolan Ryan pitched, but he still was throwing like 96 miles an hour. And I think that that's the whole thing, is you have to, if they work this with Japanese psychology, where every time, like they do a couple of spots and Bill's ready to spear him, and Gunther fucking grabs the ropes and rolls out. Because I don't know how many people caught this during the Raw, but Gunther, for the first time, chicken shit healed, sold Goldberg and backed away from him. And I don't know how many people caught that, but I did. Like, yeah. Gunther fucking showed, like, he didn't get up in his face. He didn't tell him, I'm gonna fucking, I'm gonna put you through pain. He said, you're fucking next, and Gunther got the fuck out of there. So that step one is already set up. Storyline wise, Gunther knows this guy can take his belt.
Mm-hmm. Right. They've established he's a threat. You know what I wanted, though, in that exchange, in the writing of Bill getting in Gunther's face, when he said, "You're mine because you're next." I was so lost the "you're mine." I would have said, "You're next." I think that would have got him. Fans expected it. Except the Goldberg chant when he was coming down and they were doing the WCW Goldberg chant. I didn't see a mouth moving in the audience, Kevin. This was pumped in, obviously. This was the truck.
I watched it back. They never showed. They only showed the people that he was having contact with around the ring, which are not going to be.
Well, when he got in the ring, I was looking at the whole lower section that all the cameras were.
See, and I wasn't. I was looking at Bill, but I just look at this and I say that first, you have to realize what this is too. This is a Saturday night main event.
True. This isn't the pay-per-view. This is
this is Saturday main event. This is, so you're taking somebody that was was huge box office in the golden era. I mean, as over as anybody in the golden era. And he still looks very much the part, you know. So I find it interesting.
I'll watch.
I know I will.
I'm always intrigued when they try something different like that. So,
And on top
I
of
will
that,
watch.
it also it gives me, knowing that it's supposedly Bill's last match, it gives me an idea of where they're going with Cena. Are they just going to beat Bill?
Well, that's a good question. How do you book this?
Yeah, how do you book it?
I'd have LA Knight run in and interfere.
I was going to say Sami Zayn, but
I was going to go there too, but I thought it was time for an LA Knight reference.
I'll tell you what, we gave him a lot of shit early in this show, that he was a copycat and everything else. And I appreciate him. I think he's a fucking solid hand. The people like him. Like, he would definitely be on my list of guys to give a run to give a world run to. The only problem is he's a babyface.
Well, you weren't critical of his work. You were being critical of the promo.
Yeah. No, his work's always been solid.
Zach's Mac 83. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, and that fucker stays in fucking in really good shape.
Zach's Mac 83 said, the Beach Boys was my first concert at resorts in Atlantic City around 81, 82. I was about 6 years old. My mom got up and danced on the table with Mike Love. I listened to, they were playing an old interview with him on Stern this week, I guess because of his passing, and I listened to Brian Wilson, not Mike Love. And really, everyone knows the public story of his challenges and his struggles, but further, the problems that created for the business of music. We don't think about the business often, but the struggles he had in business as a result of that were, like, for example, his father sold the rights to the the Beach Boys music behind his back. So it was kind of fascinating. So just piggybacking on that.
I just watched a thing on Netflix. It's been on my kind of to watch list. Have you seen the thing they did on Zeppelin?
No, I see it on there though. That's something I want. Becoming Led Zeppelin, I think it's called, right?
Fuck yeah, man.
Good?
Yeah, and it's, man, you just...
Film or a series?
It's
one.
I think it's a one and done.
Okay.
I know that I watched it in a night.
What does it cover? Just the story of the band, or is there a particular point of view?
No, from the conception.
Mm-hmm.
Because they were, oh fuck. Was their background with it was the Animals?
I don't know. I know
who
Zeppelin's music. I don't know too much about their story. I know Bonzo was a fucking crazy good drummer. What's the connection to the Animals? You look.
I'm trying to think of who Page was with first.
Oh, who Jimmy Page was playing with. Oh, well, that's easy enough to look up. We can find that. I love talking Zeppelin because they were absolutely the Yardbirds.
Yardbirds.
That was with, what's his name? Clapton, too, right? Clapton. 60. Let's see, 63 would have been the Yardbirds.
Yeah.
So
It
yeah,
was the Yardbirds.
they were a template. Robert Plant was the template for the 70s and 80s rock singer. You could talk
Yeah.
David Lee Roth, Bret Michaels. I mean, you can go right down the line.
Absolutely.
So prototypical. And I've had this discussion with musicians specifically about Led Zeppelin. You cannot remove one member of that band and not change the dynamic of Led Zeppelin. From John Paul Jones to John Bonham to Jimmy Page to Robert Plant. You could not have not had one of them and had Led Zeppelin, which is so unique.
And I mean, we all know how many great songs they have, but their first 2 fucking albums alone are just like. And there's a part in the doc that talks, and Page is talking about when he went in to edit Whole Lot of Love, and where that
The
he
echo?
makes that, yeah, the whole
Isn't that the tape laying on itself and creating an echo?
and it's it's a synth, and I mean he goes into that whole fucking thing, and that was like, fuck, what, 68 maybe?
Which album was it?
The first one. No, Whole Lot of Love was their second one, but I think they went into the studio at 68 for that.
Yeah, because I think their releases, I mean, they were done by what, 75? Again, for as much of an impact as they had, there was that short time. Zeppelin 4 for me is like, oh my God. Laying down in the dark, taking a gummy, listening to When the Levee Breaks.
I loved fucking Physical Graffiti.
What's off of that, man? That was...
I'm so bad because I always
They were remarkable.
yeah.
Okay, so how's it, The Rover, great song. Trampled Underfoot, that was probably the biggest track off of that, right?
Cashmere.
Oh, Cashmere for sure. Yeah, actually, Cashmere then would have been. I don't know. I will check that out. I'm eager to check that out.
I had a couple of our
Beverages?
no, I had a couple of our sponsor.
VIIAs?
Yes, a couple of VIIAs the other day, and I'm playing with my new toy, the Sirius XM, in my car, and it's just a stock stereo in it, but it sounds pretty good. And of course, cannabis always seems to make music sound so much better.
Sure does.
And fucking, like they were. I was listening to classic vinyls, and out of nowhere they hit me with the Time of the Season with the Zombies.
Absolutely.
And but the thing is like, not only do I know every, like when a song starts, I'll know who the band is in 5 notes. I know the words to like every song in that era, because that's the music my brother listened to. That was, and my brother had
Little Spirit in the Sky blasting in.
I remember when Stevie Wonder, Songs in the Key of Life, I think is the name of it. It was a double, for us it was a double 8-track. But I mean, he was my brother was, it was either Columbia House where you got
the cassette deal gimmick.
Well, we had 8 tracks. You got like
12 for a penny.
12 of them for 99 cents, or 12 for a penny. And then after that, you had to buy so many. And, my brother always, he was always hustling and working and shit. So we always had fucking tunes. We always had vinyls going and 8 tracks going. And I'm sure I've said this on the show before, but like our stereo was at our heads, and my brothers like our beds were kind of in a L, so my brothers had like our heads were kind of together, but there was the piece of like my brother's bed went in,
And your headboard would go up against his.
and my the pillows in the back of mine made a couch, but then when you took them and put them on the ground, they added a foot to the bed, so I had a 7-foot bed, and I remember at nighttime you'd be listening to me and you're like, like do they'd stop and go, that fucking track would you'd half-ass jump on the bed like, what the fuck was that? But just to listen to those 8 tracks fucking switch up on you.
Mm-hmm. The 8-track. Kev, our friend Tal Rosen reached out. She's in Israel and not good times. Just a little real-life update from your girl in Israel. Hey, Kevin, Sean. So remember how just a week ago it felt like things might actually calm down here? Yeah, forget that. The train left the station, probably got blown up on the way out, too. Israel's now officially in a war with Iran. Things are heating up fast and getting heavier by the day. Attached is a real video from just 3 days ago. Yes, this is actually Tel Aviv. What you're seeing, those are Iranian missiles. Most of them were intercepted by the Iron Dome, thank God. But it's not exactly peaceful vibes around here. I'm honestly waiting for a new episode like I wait for oxygen. So no pressure. But yeah, a little pressure. Stay strong for us. Love you guys to the moon and back. Tal, how sweet are you? Do you think she's here tonight?
I just, because that was my whole thing is, we don't get much coverage of any damage that's going on in Tel Aviv.
100%. That's what I thought of when I was watching this.
And then she sent us those. I did see.
There's some video.
Yeah, and you'll see when one of those hypersonic ones, where when one just kind of comes, and it's just there's one that you'll just see it. The one will just they see that thing streak.
Yeah. So the pops in the sky are the ones being intercepted, right? Obviously, and and then the ones that it's like there's an interception. And
but my whole thing is on top of that, even though that they're being intercepted, you can shoot a fucking 747 out of the sky.
But the debris is
that bitch is still landing someplace.
Sure,
and it's just.
It seems as this is going to go full bore, Kevin, and one has to consider the response by the rest of the world now, because we all know countries that Iran is in bed with.
Right.
Will they choose to see the direction this is headed and refrain from any direct participation? I don't know what our participation has been. Netanyahu today, I think, said that we've been very helpful. I don't know if he means in any kind of support capacity other than just saying we're supporting them.
As being Old Man River, I was in college when the Shah when that crumbled.
The Shah of Iran,
and they took our hostages, and then I think that was the first Delta Force attempt to save our hostages, and they crashed out in the desert with Carter as president, and I don't think we got them back, and we didn't get our hostages back. But as a country, I don't think that we ever we wanted the Shah there for a reason, and I don't think that that anything has changed geopolitically, politically. We both had this conversation. There was a guy that was on Bill Maher 3 weeks ago, and he said there's a huge difference between Iran and Israel. Whereas Israel cherishes and loves life, whereas the Iranian, they cherish death.
Right.
Like it's more of everything is death, death
Fixated on it and
motivated.
obsessed
Yeah.
with the death. Yeah.
So it's just, it's we all want world peace. We all want, nobody wants to see a child starve or anything else, And I sure as hell don't want for civilians to, be in a bunker, or be in a stairwell, or and it's just.
These aren't wars confined to the jungle anymore. This is
No, man.
this is street combat. It's in the cities. It's a different animal now, and
But
God, there's no way to avoid
I
collateral
look
damage.
at our country, and I look at the things that we're passing, the big beautiful bill, and all these things, and so as a country and as a society, we've decided that we're going to get rid of Roe versus Wade, and we're not going to allow a woman to have the choice. So we, as the federal government, because the Supreme Court made that decision, we take that choice away from the woman, and put it basically upon the government. At the same time, we cut Medicaid, we cut SNAP. So not only are you forced to have a child into poverty, but don't think that you're going to get any kind of
Any
assistance
to raise, yeah, exactly.
I don't know, man. Like I write that down on a fucking legal pad. It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I haven't worked it through on my Texas Institute.
Texas Instruments.
Yeah, I haven't worked it out.
T86.
Yeah, I haven't worked it out on my T86 yet, but I'm, it's just so much shit happens daily that it's just fucking mind-boggling.
Yeah. Well, what your T86 Texas Instruments device can help you do is figure out how much money you may have to send to a friend. And if you have the Cash App, this process just got so much easier for you. As you know, opening my Cash App right now as we speak. Cash App, you might have noticed, Kevin Nash, is now a WWE sponsor. If you saw them,
Yeah, I saw that.
Saw the logo in the ring. They know what they're doing. Official partner of WWE. They sponsored the Money in the Bank in June and has some hilarious custom ads airing during the broadcasts this year. And they're with us this year. So let me tell you everything wonderful about Cash App right now. Okay. Super easy to get started. Enter your phone and email, some other basic information. Don't even need the bank account, by the way. Don't even have to put that in. No waiting. Your money's going to show up in your app right away if it's sent to you. You don't have to wait around for days. Think of the nightmarish things that could happen with sending money. Okay. Having to wait for your money to show up, maybe getting hit with a fee that you didn't realize if you use a different app or service. Sending to a friend. Maybe you accidentally send something to the wrong person. Good luck getting that back. But Cash App has you covered in so many ways. First of all, secure and safe. That's paramount, okay? They have your back. If you're about to send money to anything they detect as somewhat sketchy, okay, they're going to give you a warning about this, all right? You can feel relaxed knowing they have your back. And personalized payments. You could even, send custom texts with it, stamps, backgrounds. Can make it a bit of a process. I think, listen, the speed, the reliability, and the safety is what makes Cash App top notch. Okay, so, and for a limited time, by the way, listen to this crazy offer. Cash App users can use our exclusive code and earn some additional cash. For real, there's no catch, honest to God. Just download Cash App and sign up. Use our exclusive referral code KLIQ10, K-L-I-Q 10, in your profile. Send $5 to a friend. Within 14 days, you're going to get $10 deposited in your account. That's insane. Find a bank to do that for you. Send $5 to a friend within 14 days, you're going to get $10 dropped in your account. Terms apply. That's money. That's Cash App. Thank you, Cash App. You're in the right place. And if you want to be in the right place and be part of the Kliq This family, go to kliqthistv.com, sign up for the 11 Soft Club. You could be here like our friends are watching the live taping. You get shows early with no commercials, and you're part of something special. kliqthistv.com. Don Dugan, Sean, please don't start screaming. Did I scream? Am I screaming into the mic? I apologize. Maybe I'm making the volume go haywire. I get excited. What can I tell you? I feel like I'm on Busted Open. I'm going to start screaming about this week's Raw. Kev, I watched Raw this week. Did you?
Yeah.
We talked a little bit about Goldberg.
Our girl Liz got her.
Oh, yeah. 6 months, I'm hearing. Surgery required.
Yeah, Liv got her. It's got to be rotator cuff or labrum.
Yeah, I mean,
The way she landed on that.
we talked about the rings a little bit today, Kev. There's no way to deny you're landing on wood.
No.
Well, a little, what, an inch maybe of cushion?
It's like like kind of a collegiate wrestling pad.
Okay. Yeah, but you're landing on wood. And there's no way, for as often as these folks work and for all the different times they're hitting the mat and from different heights and different angles, you can't flat back it. You can't land how you are trained to every single time. It's harrowing, but it's a reality of this business.
No,
And,
dude, nobody gets out. Nobody gets out.
no one gets out alive, right?
And it's, like I tell anybody that's done this at a high level for 3 to 5 years is, I mean, by the time they get my age, I hope they were a politician. I hope they were, I hope they were smart enough to put some money away because, man, it's very unforgiving on your body.
Yeah. Yeah, so we wish her the best. And
I came into this shit fucked up. I was gimped.
Yeah.
I was gimped when I went to wrestling camp.
you had the pleasure of working on those Yoko rings too.
Yeah.
We were talking a little bit about the suspension system in under the ring now, which is kind of like a cross hatch.
I'm guessing it's just a cable that crosses.
Used to have that center spring.
Oh, we said yeah, that thing was.
And then almost no spring when the big guy when the Federation got much bigger.
Once Vince started taking bumps, the rings got good.
I bet. Right. Hey, I had another thing to ask you about Uso this week. Finished his segment with a couple of splashes off the top rope with taped ribs. Now, here again, we talk about the logic of it, right? And after, when he was standing, there's that like face-off moment, right? That's when he was selling a little bit. But when he's going up and performing the split, I waited for the sell. I waited for a struggle getting up. I waited for some hesitation. I waited for, after the impact, the sell of the ribs. And I didn't get it. And I thought that was way too obvious to just have been excused.
It's
These are the details we're talking about.
Yeah, but it's always hard, if if something's set the week before or a match before or something like that, I remember Dallas worked for a long time with like injured ribs, which was great in the house show because all you have to do is like cut him off with a knee and you could drop him.
Mm-hmm.
And to me that's the whole thing. Like if you watch a boxing match or a UFC fight, if somebody's split open, they usually don't start throwing punches at the other eye. Like, let me see if I can get both of them. I mean, like you see what you see a wounded animal, you kind of you go after.
You go for what's bleeding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that at the same time, though, that if you've watched it for as long as we have, it's still we're sitting here nitpicking it.
Absolutely, we are. My never having
And
taken a bump in my life.
when I'm watching it, I find myself so immersed in the production and like the whole. I don't. It's weird. It's just like I get enjoyment from the atmosphere, the production, the crowd.
The spectacle.
Yeah, it's just it's as me and Disco used to say when we used to hang out during our sit around and get paid days. It's just fucking good TV. It's just it's something optically pleasant to watch on TV.
Yeah. Yeah, but listen, but there's something going on TV, and we got to talk about it. And just as if you'd watch a movie and say, I didn't get that plot twist, or he shot the guy 11 times and he kept coming. That's what we do in wrestling. You don't have to be a wrestler to be critical of wrestling. Wrestlers out there that
but I
might
think
take
that
issue with that.
I think you always have to, when it's said and done, you have to say, what do you expect? It's pro wrestling.
Yeah, I guess.
It's pro wrestling. I mean that it's if you made everything make sense, and it's like I said, nobody would run off the ropes.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't slam somebody and go to the top rope. Doesn't make any sense. You'd slam them and then you'd kick them in the fucking temple until they died.
Rip his throat out. Yeah.
Yeah, like so. I mean, there's you just have to accept it for what it is, and at the same time.
But within that, you can create a reality for me.
Yeah, but at the same time, though, reality is what's going on in the Middle East right now.
Well,
that's reality. And that I don't need any more. That's enough reality for me for the week. Where I really, if Goldberg gets a championship match because he wants one, I don't have a fucking problem with it. If you're mid-50s and you're sitting at your crib and you're putting together a fucking your Shelby and you're getting ready to put the fucking body on the fucking the frame, and you got time to do another one. God bless you.
Kev, our main event angle on Raw, I feel like I'm watching this same scenario reenacted very similar ways each week, where we have them standing in the ring and out of the ring, looking at each other, and Jay and in the ring, and it just seems there's a lot of sameness to this angle advancement every week. Am I wrong about that, Kevin? Seth on the ramp with Braun on the ramp, and
at the same time, though, you look at a show. Look at a show that was wildly successful. Friends. Seinfeld.
Mm-hmm.
Was it not the same fucking people every week? Like, it's the same. It's the cast of characters is the cast of characters, and I think the nuances and the
But there's a different script every week. I feel like I'm watching the same script.
I think things move. I mean, Cody got a chance to say, you know, how to feel to look up at the lights. There's little pieces that are like, I think before there's an earthquake, I think there needs to be some degree of seismic movement. So Gunther just became champion and took the belt off of Jay, and Jay fought like a babyface, and there's a lot of people that I know his dad is not happy with with how his son was booked, and I know there's other people that feel that way, but I just feel that people are saying it's still the same. I'm thinking, no, it's not, because Jay's not the champ.
Mm-hmm.
And Gunther fucking chicken shit heeled backed up to Goldberg.
Mm-hmm.
So there is movement.
Well, I just meant with the baby faces.
If you watch it on 4X, then you're not going to catch the fucking nuance.
I don't do that.
I'm not saying you do. I'm saying that there are people that do. So it's just like you have to,
For some of the more predictable stuff, I may 4X it.
I saw a thing on Instagram that was like the 10 strongest pushed athletes, or characters at WWE, and it was like Taker and Brock and Triple H during the 90s, and like the number one pushed person was or over pushed or whatever was Rhea on this list. They said that like nobody even had her on her back during her first 3 years. I'm thinking, well, Jesus, that obviously has changed, because she seems to be giving a lot, so.
She makes the list of most pushed in history. That's outrageous.
Yeah.
Listen, guys, time for a little BLUECHEW. You bring up Rhea, we're going to bring up BLUECHEW. Guys, BLUECHEW.
I just want to go on record. That was kind of creepy.
I just want to say, you've talked about the hotness of Rhea since we started covering her.
There's an animal magnetism.
Absolutely.
And then there's Uncle Fester creepy.
She's natural BLUECHEW. Have better sex with BLUECHEW is what we're talking about. BLUECHEW is the original brand offering chewable tablets for better sex, and starting now, BLUECHEW is offering a combo so strong it'll knock your socks off. BLUECHEW Max, that is a combination of the active ingredients of Viagra and Cialis in one chewable. Okay? How about this combo? BLUECHEW Max, which is the combo of Viagra and Cialis, and the Rhea match for this week on the tube. You will be ready to go when your partner needs it. Just a few clicks away, folks. BlueChew.com. You're going to consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you're going to receive your prescription within days. BLUECHEW tablets are made in the USA, prepared and shipped directly to your door discreetly, all done online. This is the best part. All done online. No visits to the doctor's office, no awkward conversations, and no waiting in line at the pharmacy, okay? They are not going to stop until every man is bricked. All right. Now you can make life easier by getting harder. Discover your options at BlueChew.com. And we've got a special deal for our listeners. Try your first month free. If you're still a non-believer, if you're still non-converted, guys, go to BlueChew.com. Use the promo code NASH, N-A-S-H. Just pay $5 shipping. That's promo code Nash. Visit BLUECHEW.com for more details and important safety information. We thank BLUECHEW for sponsoring the podcast, for being here with us, for us, and for you, BLUECHEW. Thank you.
What's the score of the OKC game? I have a feeling that Indiana's killing them.
Steve, bring this. Oh, here you go. Well, yeah, it's up by 13. Second quarter, 4:24 remaining.
Yeah, that's nothing against that OKC team.
This is going to 7, huh? This is going to 7. You're going to say this right now, aren't you?
No.
No? They'll take it tonight?
I think, yeah.
All right.
I think Halliburton's not. It's too big of a piece.
How about a little Florida Man jersey guide, Kev? Let's get a little bit in here. For those of you that don't know, I give Kevin 2 headlines. 1, the exploits of a Florida man. 1, the doings of a Jersey guy. Kevin innately, with almost a sixth sense, is able to discern which story is which just from the headlines. Play along at home, why don't you? First one. Man accused of peeing on Sam's Club food caused over $10,000 in damage. And 4 men arrested for armed robbery of $500,000 in perfume from a FedEx truck. First one, man accused of peeing on Sam's Club food.
I'm going to go peeing on Sam Club floor, Florida.
You're absolutely correct. I don't know how, but you are. Let's check our friend here from Orlando. This is that gentleman there is Patrick Francis Mitchell. Appeared to relieve himself in aisle 18, the home to Vienna sausages, canned spam, and other goods. A shopper took a photo of the man with a cell phone and notified the employees. This is at the Sam's Club in Lady Lake, Florida.
Wow, they got a hell of a tariff on spam, huh?
Yeah.
Fucking 100K?
10 grand.
Oh,
10 grand worth of spam, Vienna sausages, and canned goods. The food that had to be.
How can I mean?
Guy had a rope. What do you want?
No, I mean if you've ever eaten spam or any of those, they're all inside of a contained.
You cannot serve a can that was urinated on, Kevin. I think this is part of the new FDA guidelines. Surveillance video inside the store recorded him walking up to 2 pallets of food, placing his hands in front of him below the belt line, standing there for several seconds. He walked to the snack section, sat on some patio furniture for 10 minutes. Here's the count, Kev. Pissed on 118 units of canned Vienna sausage and 345 units of canned Spam Classic, covered in urine. All the food had to be thrown away, totaling $10,584.84 in lost goods.
The guy, was it Rip Van Winkle? He woke up from...
Yeah, he hadn't pissed in a few years.
Yeah, I hadn't... Past the kidney stone the size of fucking a satellite.
You know the charges, though, Kev? I'm looking at these charges. They seem a little innocuous for what he did. It's just 2 counts of disorderly conduct and criminal mischief. It sounds like you'd get that from if you were 17 and you threw a rock through a warehouse window.
Wouldn't it be I thought if it was property damage and it's over $1,500, I thought that was a felony.
Listen, $3,000 bond. He was released the next day.
Yeah, that's why you moved to Florida.
Keep an eye out for Mr. Mitchell, proprietors of stores, and then up in Jersey, some men who smell real good. The robbery took place in Edison, New Jersey, where my daughter's performing tonight as we speak. They stole over $500,000 worth of perfume and cologne from a FedEx truck. Armed with guns, they threatened the driver, forcing him to assist in the big plan.
That had to be an inside job.
35-year-old driver. Who were the two robbers? I guess they got away. We don't have the names here. Oh no, we got him. Juan Julio Castaños, 30, from Patterson, was caught at Newark Liberty International Airport, and later that day, Nangeli Sanchez Espilot.
They broke into their homes and found over 14 gallons of Jovan Musk.
Exactly. And Jonathan Gregorio Castillo. We'll see if ICE is going to be getting involved in this case. Hard to hide that evidence, Kev, when they come into the house, and there are 2,269 bottles of cologne piled throughout the place. Yeah, they didn't get a safe house. They just stacked it all in the home. What do you want, right?
A lot of people watch their crime movies on 4X, I guess.
I guess so.
It's just not getting the details.
Kev, I was a victim of crime this week. I didn't share this with anyone.
Really?
Yeah, I was. I was
raped?
No, that was the summer of '92. This is 25. I went into a Barnes & Noble. My car was in the lot. Now, my car has a feature when you walk away from it, it locks.
Yeah, mine does that.
So I don't often pay attention to whether the car is locked. So I go into the store. I kill about an hour in Barnes & Noble, and I come out, and I go to get in the front seat, and I notice my daughter's books, her school books, are strewn about the front seat, which is not how I left the car, obviously. So I look in the back seat. Her book bag from school, my little daughter's book bag and shoulder tote from school, have been stolen. Broad daylight, in a mall parking lot in front of the Barnes & Noble. So there's nothing of value. I mean, it's school books and whatever she had in there, whatever. So I called my wife. I'm like, did she have any gift cards that she was going to give her teachers? Did she get anything from friends? No. All right. But I call the police because statistically they need this stuff. They need to know to patrol the lots or whatever. It's not the crime of the century. They sent the crime scene unit to try to get prints. Now, the car wasn't messed with in any way, so the car mustn't have locked. So I'm very angry with myself that I didn't just turn. It takes a half a second. I can even do it while I'm walking.
I want to hear it. If I get someplace and I don't remember, because mine will do that. You can hear it lock itself when the key gets so far away. But sometimes I'm like, I just assume just hit the lock button so I hear the horn beep.
Mm-hmm.
And but that's just my upbringing. I think everybody's fucking.
But I usually do it, and I'll walk a few steps and I'll turn. If I feel I've gone too far and it doesn't happen, I hit the lock on the thing anyway, just to do it, to make sure. Fortunately, I had my bag with me, with my computer with 3 books sitting on it. It could have been far worse. It was just Lana's book stuff.
How tinted is your car windows?
Not really.
That's
I
huge.
don't think. Yeah, no, they're not.
Get your windows tinted deep. It's dark as you can go without getting in trouble.
Yeah, that's so. But I didn't sweat it, Kev, because
Boom.
This little thing right here. For those of you listening, I'm holding up MANDO, for God's sakes, and not just any MANDO, a new MANDO.
The 72-hour MANDO.
Oh, walked into Kevin's and my life this week. We both used it to separate but similar rave reviews that we shared with each other today off air. This, what I'm holding, is the stick deodorant, MANDO deodorant plus sweat control. 72. Now, I have the bourbon leather. Kev, do you have the bourbon leather as well? Oh, I'm such a fan. I was getting ready this morning. I used it when I got out of the shower. I'm in the closet. I'm looking for clothes. And I keep catching a wafting, very pleasant scent from when I was in the hallway, the bathroom. Now I'm in the closet in the bedroom, and I'm thinking, like, is it the dry cleaning I picked up? What is this? I realize it's me. I'm carrying this now from the bourbon leather scent, the MANDO deodorant plus sweat control, the solid stick. It's double protection, the odor control plus the powerful sweat control. Kev, you applied this before your workout today.
I applied, yesterday.
Yesterday.
So I put it on before my workout. I worked out, and then I think I did something. I had to do something, and it made me like 15 minutes later. I thought that I came home, and it was just like I was going to go take a shower because we were going to go catch some food up the street at a restaurant. And it's casual. It's a great restaurant, but it's just it's casual. You can wear shorts, and I had I yelled up to Tamara. I'm like, oh, geez, I'm going to be funky. And I asked her to grab me a T-shirt. She came down. I handed her my T-shirt, and she just, like, it was in her hand. And then she just, I guess because it had odor to it, it wasn't unpleasant. She just kind of like, she didn't put it like, she just kind of went like, she goes, this doesn't smell bad. I said, do I? And I just kind of walked towards her. I said, do I smell bad? She goes, no, you smell fine. And usually, I mean, an hour after my workout, I'm like kitty litter. So.
Yeah, guys, please experience this. And listen, remember, sweat after just 12 hours with this, okay? Because it's controlling sweat and odor for 72 hours, sweat is reduced by 92%. That's what Kev's talking about after his workout, okay? This stuff works. It doesn't just mask odor, it prevents it. 100% of study participants experienced all-day odor protection. This is unbelievably revolutionary. It tackles both odor and sweat, guys. So use the deal we have for you, and that's the MANDO starter pack. You're looking at it on the screen if you're watching. It's perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice, mini body wash, deodorant wipes, whatever you want to throw in there, and free shipping. As a special offer for listeners, new customers get 20% off site-wide with the exclusive code KLIQ, K-L-I-Q, at shopmando.com. That's 20% off site-wide plus free shipping. Go to shopmando.com, SHOPMANDO. Please support the show. Tell them we sent you. Mando's got you covered with deodorant plus sweat control. Say goodbye to sweat stains. Hello to long-lasting freshness. Back with Kliq This, the Kevin Nash podcast. And if you know the podcast, you know True Classic gives us the hanging T-shirts that we so enjoy. Wore some of my True Classic this week. I've been on a real True Classic kick. I have multiple black T-shirts. A thinner one, and then a couple of the thicker ones. I have a gray one I like. I wore the white one the other day. True Classic. Their mission goes beyond fit. I'm talking about my love of the T-shirt, Kev's love of the T-shirts. There are hoodies.
You got to get the summer package.
I got the summer package, baby. But you mean the summer True Classic package?
Yeah, the colors. They've got like a kind of a like a beautiful light blue. It's just, they got it.
You're right. I do need. I'm going to grab that light blue actually.
Yeah,
as soon as we get
like
done here.
I think there's 6 of them in that set.
I'm going to grab that. I'm glad you picked that up, Kevin. I'm glad you told me about that. This is about more than just the colors, the fit, the feel, even the price. These things wash themselves onto your body. With each wash, they seem to fit me better. They have studied the man's physique, okay? And they know how to cut the shirt so it is tailored where you want it, relaxed where you need it. There's no bunching, no stiff fabrics, no bullshit, all right? This is clean, effortless fit that works for real life, for real guys. I promise you, once you throw one on, you're never going to go back. The overpriced designer brands do not pay attention to these things. So ditch the disposable fast fashion. True classic is built for comfort, built to last, and also built to give back. Okay? They're intentional about everything they do. They give back to underserved communities. They have fun advertising. True classic, you can grab them at Target, Costco. But if you go to trueclassic.com/Kliq, Kliq, we're going to hook you up. Go check them out. True classic. We love them. We wear them. You will do the same. Okay, hashtag Ask Nash is how we roll. It's how you get questions to Kevin Nash. Hashtag Ask Nash. We will find you on the socials. Kev, the first question is from someone, and the name is written in Arabic. Steve, if you want to bring it up, that's fine. I can't read it because I don't read Arabic, but they're asking, Kev, can we see you in Saudi Arabia?
I don't have any business there. I know I'm going to Kuwait in a couple of months.
Okay.
So I'll be in Kuwait, but I'm not going to Saudi Arabia. I'd love to. I'd love to see that. I'd love to.
All right. Very good. Blake Snow. I wonder if Kev has seen The Departed, which is Scorsese's Heat. Anyways, I'll have to tell a story about WCW running the Edward Jones Dome in St. Louis later, or I could tweet Kev about it. The Departed. I think DiCaprio, right?
Yep.
Police film, corrupt cop, maybe? Do I have that right?
Wahlberg.
Okay, Wahlberg too? All right. God, it's been a minute. I actually don't recall if I ever saw that. I feel like I've seen every Scorsese film, so I had to have. So you must have seen it.
Oh, yeah.
Being the...
This is Jack Nicholson's in that.
Yes, actually, I do remember this now, because there's a great scene in a bar with Jack and Leo, right? I remember this. Pinball Wizard 809. Recently, the family and I attended a live NXT event at the Performance Center and enjoyed the experience. One thing we noticed is the fan participation with custom chants for every wrestler. As a wrestler, do you enjoy custom chants?
Well, I'm not a wrestler anymore, so to me, they're annoying.
When you were there, did you pay attention to what the fans were doing during your entrance? Or were you just focused on the match?
They just kept calling this same girl. I think her name was Doreen.
What the hell was that?
Oh, they just say Doreen.
Oh, got it. That's when you're in the chin lock, or you're giving Sean the chin lock. Who in the house, Steve? Give me some folks from the house here. Tyler Blair, Kevin, any truth to the rumors of you taking the belt off Goldberg at SummerSlam?
No.
Now you're going to be up here for SummerSlam, right?
Yeah. Yes.
All right. You know what I'm doing?
Unless they send me a ticket to fly to Newark, then the answer's no.
You probably will, though, right?
I've flown into Newark. That Suburban can drive from LaGuardia.
It can. Take a little longer, but hey, you know what's going on SummerSlam weekend? Some big Juggalo shows. JCW Juggalo Championship Wrestling. Their show on the Friday night, I think, begins at midnight. So I wanted to go see Joe and Joey and hang out a little. I haven't seen them in a very long time, and we're working together. But we'd have to make a deal. We'd have to. I'm not going at midnight to the show, so I'm going to have to get them in the afternoon and get a cocktail.
Yeah, I don't know what my schedule is yet.
Well, let me know. Maybe we can. You could do a Detroit thing.
I know I'm slammed.
Yeah.
The month of April.
No pun intended.
August.
Okay, another question. Who in the house? Edgar Watson, click this. What causes more injuries? Being too tense or being too comfortable? Great question.
In the ring?
Yes.
Being too fucking, mostly it's just too much mileage.
on the body, but there's no like being too stiff, and I don't mean stiff and working stiff. I mean like your body being too not limber enough.
Being comfortable. I mean, there's nothing comfortable about being out there. It's not like you're doing a waltz or something. You're still fucking moving a human being, picking up a human being.
Not even doing Tim Waltz.
Yeah, no, it's.
No, I just think that
It's just
if you're too. What do you mean too comfortable? Maybe careless, not.
No, I think it's like if you're either tense or kind. It doesn't matter what you do. It's best you can do is, I mean, definitely make sure you're stretched out and everything else. But
Right.
you know,
Who else in the live audience here? Instagram, a wrestling historian, says today is TNA's anniversary. What is your favorite match from there? Thanks in advance. Have a favorite TNA in ring?
I guess me and Mick, I wrestled Foley for the Legends. And he was nice enough to put me over.
Excellent.
My son was there. We both got color, so that was kind of cool for T. And we laid it out in the back for T, so T like knew everything that was going to happen. So he got to see the whole process.
Did you know that the color was blading?
Yep.
Really? Okay.
Yep.
Kliq This is a production of Butch and Sundance Media, produced in association with Podcast Heat, created by Tristan Nash, Kevin Nash, Sean Oliver, producer Steve Kaufman, graphics by Dominic D'Angelo, title sequence and audio edit by Wesley Burleson, theme song by Dale Oliver, technical research by Tristan Nash, copyright 2025, Butch and Sundance Media. Kev, you want to do another one?
Yes, I do want to give a shout out though. There was some upsetting news today that Hulk was not well, but we haven't been able to.
I didn't want to give it a rub because if it's not,
well, it'll be a week from now, so it'll play.
what are you talking about? It's Monday.
Yeah, well, it might be for you, but I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go watch the OKC clinch the championship. So
Strange they're doing a Monday morning game.
crazy.
Let us free to fade away into eternity. Circulate, you've come to love me, but now I'm frozen in dead flesh. Oh, Sophie, knew all along it was a dream, but the customer service never answers the thing.